Does anyone else miss when their YouTube homepage felt more human? 'Cause same. That's the best way I figured out how to describe my annoyance for AI generated YouTube thumbnails. Obviously, all these creators are doing it for a reason. You know, there's some science, there's some psychology behind it, right? That it generates more engagement. But why? Maybe I'm just this rare specimen that this tactic doesn't work on, but I don't know. Like, it's just so obviously computerized and just too perfect to the point that it turns me away. I feel like it's always kind of turned me away to some extent, but it's just gradually annoyed me more and more. YouTube has just become so commercialized that now it just feels like everyone's the same. Now I'm just at a point where I'm noticing a rather stark comparison. YouTube thumbnails and even videos, which that's a whole topic for another time, but YouTube thumbnails now versus even just like late 2010s era. YouTube just somehow still felt way more human. Authentic and real personalities are in a way kind of disappearing. Seems like there are more authentic creators than ever before. But at the same time, all that said authenticity just seems more manufactured for engagement bait and ultimately revenue and money and our attention. And you know what? This isn't even a dig at the creators because it makes sense that you'd produce content that the algorithm because it makes sense that creators would produce content that their environment and algorithm would reward. Any normal, smart human being would do that. This just goes back to the saying, don't hate the players, hate the game. And I'm just hating on the game right now. I just don't like that YouTube is rewarding just such like in your face brain rot. The reason why I wanted to focus on thumbnails specifically is because my homepage is just now so reflective of this environment that's being rewarded. See, I feel like I'm kind of a ride or die. When I find a creator I love them and I stick with them for a while. And I've just noticed more and more people taking advantage of the relatively new feature where you can do A and B testing on thumbnails and titles. And I go back to the same video and the thumbnail, the title is different, and it's just, I don't know. I miss the old motivations of YouTube sometimes. People have talked about the Mr. Beastification of YouTube, if you will, and I actually think that's a very interesting topic, but we're not going to focus on that right now. But I do think the prevalence of these AI-generated thumbnails are a result of that. Just the creepily perfect lighting and the overly smoothed out faces and facial expressions and just the bright colors. It's just like, obviously, okay, you have the very beginning of YouTube, late 2000s, where I don't even think custom thumbnails were a thing. They definitely weren't a thing. And then people just had, blurry webcam images, right? You had that era. And then you had the like mid to late 2010s era where people got creative with their thumbnails, but they still look designed by a human. And then now you have today funneling into this homogenous brain rot engagement bait thumbnails. I don't like it. Does anyone else feel this way? Obviously, there's nothing I can do to change it, but I just felt like ranting about it for a little bit. All that said, who knows the true direction of YouTube when you look in the grand scheme of things? It does seem like, though, the pendulum is kind of swinging the other way. I'm curious to see what the future of YouTube will look like. That's it from me tonight. And I can promise you right now, you'll never see these thumbnails from me.